Hey guys, it's Sam here from the Sam Statement. Before I get into my review of Wonder Woman 84, I would like to address a few things. First, as you can see, I am not with Dennis today. Well, you can't see, but he did not watch Wonder Woman 84 as the time I am recording this. Anyways, one thing is this is a spoiler-filled review, so if you did not watch Wonder Woman 84, go watch it and then come back here and watch that. Or this. You know what I mean. The last thing I want to say is this video will not have a face camera today. I'm trying a new video type out, so tell me in the comments if you like this version of video. Without further ado, let's get into this review. So Wonder Woman 84, the newest film of the DCEU, is simply amazing. It is debatable whether or not it is as good as the first film. I would say it is, and I would say it is for one reason. The villains in this movie carry this movie from a good movie to a great movie. You look at Pedro Pascal's performance, it shows how good he is at acting as a father figure. Think about the Mandalorian and Grogu and him and Alistair. One of my favorite lines of his is, Alistair! It's just great whenever he's looking for him. I'd say it's one of the most iconic DCEU scenes. The Dreamstone incarnate Max Lord, played by Pedro Pascal, is equatable to, let's say, the monkey's paw, which they talk about in this movie. If you don't know what the monkey's paw is, it's essentially you wish for one thing and something bad happens. So, like, let's say you wish for 200 pounds and then, like, a 200-pound piano would drop on you. Like, you don't want that, but it's what happens. You know what I'm saying? So the most memorable line from Peter Pascal is, I want to share my blessing with you, the power of positive thinking. It just shows you he appears to be selfless, but he's actually like one of the most selfish people like you could think of, which makes a great villain. He's a villain who is blinded by wanting it all for himself and Alistair that he forgets all about Alistair. So that's pretty sad. Then we have Kristen Wiig's Barbara Minerva, also known as Cheetah. She's a quirky nobody who wants to be popular and powerful like Deanna. She becomes just like Deanna, but she loses her personality and humanity in return. She's cool, but to be honest, whenever she comes like punk rock and turns into a little cheetah, kind of throws me off. But regardless, those villains, were amazing. But let's not forget about Gal Gadot. I think I nailed that actually. And the return of Chris Pine, whose chemistry it's on point. All right, Gal's Deanna with Steve Boyd back, and they seem like their relationship didn't miss a beat. Deanna did not love for such a long time, showing that she's loyal, but the relationship was just a little much for me. It was cool to see Diana like more human rather than like super OP Wonder Woman. She's gonna kick butt, you know. But yeah, I'd like to see that side of her. Uh, Throughout the movie, she loses her power, and Steve was worried about her. I mean, she got whooped from Barbara, so I mean, it makes sense why he would be worried. And Diana couldn't see the truth that she would be the one who must sacrifice her wish for the world, kind of like Asteria, which they talk about earlier in the movie. And so the final scene is all redemption. All people who wish for something renounce their wish. This is where the Alistair and Max Lord scene is, and Barbara announces her wish, which I honestly did not think that was going to happen. But I mean, that's cool. And then another thing I'm not too I'm like really cool about it is throughout the movie, Steve is just not Steve, and the guy who is like Steve, I don't know if I want to see that happening in the DC. And also they said, oh well, I'll see you around, and it's obviously like it's magically like they arrive and they see each other again. It's so weird. Regardless, so that's just something I wasn't like too fond out. But so yeah, we got the end credit scene. We see OG Wonder Woman. Great homage to Gal's predecessor. Sorry, I can't speak English. And hopefully we could see more of the OG Wonder Woman as Asteria. I'm here for it. And so here's my ranking of the movie idea. I'm gonna put it into top tens. or just not top 10s, just 10s. So I rank this movie in four aspects: music, creativity, plot, and special effects. This might be weird. This might be something that only the Sam statement does, but I'm here for it. You're here for it. So let's get into it. For music, I would give this an 8 out of 10. I love Hans Zimmer, don't get me wrong, but this is an okay, maybe like below average piece of work for him. Honestly, if he would have had the flight scene have original music, that would that would just be amazing. That would make it a 10 probably, to be honest. But so yeah, the music's an 8 out of 10 specifically because they took Adagio and D instead of making an amazing piece of music like in Man of Steel. Whenever he has the flight scene, which is probably the best scene in superhero film. That's all I have to say. So let's get into creativity. 9 out of 10. The setting, creative, so creative. Actually, like in 1984, who would have thunk it? Honestly, the only thing that doesn't give it a 10 out of 10 is they kind of just have the same Diana and Steve relationship from the last movie, which it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's overplayed, but it's definitely not a 10 out of 10 creativity if you reuse something. So third, we have plot, and I'll give this a 7 out of 10. The story's good, and they're really good, really good subplots. Too good, in fact. You almost pay too much attention to Barbara and Max, and you forget that you're watching Wonder Woman. Uh, it's just the character development for the villains is so good in this movie, but I would love to have seen more character development for Diana herself, seeing that this is a movie based around her and not the villains. So, Steve again sacrifices himself so Diana could succeed. And the words "I renounce my wish," they say it a lot. It does not feel right. I feel like this movie could have been a lot better for a lot of reasons, but I was just like, "I renounce my wish." Like you could literally have a great movie line, but that just it doesn't fit to me for some reason. I don't know why. And then the fourth and final thing is special effects. And I'll give this an 8 out of 10. The effects in this movie were flawless, but then you get to the final scene and you see Cheetah, which doesn't look like Cheetah. The CGI was messy, and the final scene it's too much CGI. I know it's a superhero movie, but I would like to have seen less CGI than there was. And whenever Barbara had her own CGI, like her fight in the White House against Deanna, I liked it. It was good CGI, but whenever you got to Cheetah, it was not. So overall, if we add all those up, we get a 9 and 8, a 7 and an 8. So, or it'd be 8, 9, 7, 8. But you get the gist of it. So that would be uh an 8 out of 10 if you average those up together. And it's amazing. All right, it's something you should watch. Is it the best DCEU film? I would say no, but I'm biased to Man of Steel. But yeah, this is a great movie. Definitely need to watch it. It could be a 10 out of 10, but just the plot holds it back, and uh, the CGI is like, it's great. Don't get me wrong, the CGI is great, but it could be better, and the music could be better. But yeah, I enjoy this movie a lot. Uh, I'm doing this entire review from my memory, and I only watched it once, so that tells you how much how good of a movie it is if I remember that much. So yeah, that's all for now, folks. We'll see you tomorrow with a Soul review. You know how it is. It's been real, guys. Peace.